doctors are performing a difficult operation in a modern African hospital. Yet in a nearby village, witch doctors still try to cure by magic. New highways circle many large African cities. But not far away, donkeys are still the only means of transportation. Africa today is a land of many contrasts and cultures. A land so large that when it is summer in the north, it is winter in the south. This huge continent can be divided into 4 major regions, each different from the other. Except in the Maghreb, where there is moderate rainfall, North Africa is dry. Most of it is covered by the Sahara, a desert larger than the entire United States. Yet even in this barren land, people manage to make a living. The Sahara has always been home to 10-year-old Hassan. His family are Bedouins, a people who roam the desert, always searching for grass for their goats. Hassan keeps close watch on the goats because the family depends on their milk and meat for food. There is time to relax with a cup of hot tea, but the family will soon be on the move again. Like all Bedouins, every few weeks they must take down their tent, pack their few belongings, and ride their camels in search of new pasture and water. In the Sahara, there are oases, green patches where water has turned the desert into fertile farming land. Throughout North Africa, most farmers live close to water. They carry water to the fields by hand. Or, if the village is lucky, by an ox-drawn water wheel. In some places, water is brought up from ancient wells that go deep beneath the surface of the Sahara. But the greatest source of all is the River Nile. Along its fertile banks, Egyptians have been farming for over 5,000 years. Even today, nearly all of Egypt's people live within a few miles of the river. To make more of Egypt's desert land productive, a great dam is being built on the Nile at Aswan. When completed, it will be much larger than the old Aswan Dam, whose waters, channeled into modern irrigation systems, have enabled millions of acres to yield crops for the first time. In the villages, as well as the cities, there are Muslim temples called mosques. Here, North Africans may spend hours in prayer or studying their holy Bible, the Quran. In large cities like Cairo and Casablanca, the signs of Islam are everywhere. The veil, the fez, the arch, the minaret, all traces of Arab culture that began over 1,000 years ago, and in time was carried by caravans southward across the Sahara to West Africa. The dryness of the desert regions gradually gives way to the hot, wet climate and dense forests of West Africa's coastal areas. This is the Kamboro family, who, like most West Africans, live in a small forest village. Here, on cleared patches near their home, they grow enough to eat. These are yams, similar to our potatoes. Some foods grow wild in the forest. Plantain looks like bananas and needs only to be cut down and carried home. It tastes best after being peeled and boiled. Meat is scarce because in these lowlands, tsetse flies are deadly to cows and goats. But fish caught in a nearby river are a good substitute. It's time to eat, and Father is served first. Most of the family meals consist of fish, plantain, and yams. But in spite of the lack of variety, the children have hearty appetites. The Camboros village is a long way from the nearest city, but there is a new railroad that passes only 8 miles away. The station is across the river, and to reach it, a long boat trip is necessary. After the tiring ride, the villagers are happy to sit back and let the train do all the work. They have not forgotten how they used to make most of the journey on foot. The railroad has changed all that, just as it is changing village life. Now, more farmers are growing commercial crops, such as cocoa, which they can sell in the city. Some villagers are moving to the cities and taking jobs with steady wages. As more people arrive, cities like Lagos in Nigeria are growing and becoming more modern. The streets are crowded with European and American cars. They arrive by ship, along with oil, tractors, and machinery, all needed to help West Africa build its own industry, a dream which has already begun to take shape. Southern Africa is further from the equator and has a cooler, drier climate. Most of the country is a high plateau called the Veld, which was nearly uninhabited until 3 centuries ago. Then Dutch pioneers came north from their settlement at Cape Town and established sheep ranches on the Veld. Today, descendants of the Dutch pioneers are called Afrikaners. They share the Veld with the more populous Bantu people, who over many years migrated there from further north. Many Bantu still live in their traditional tribal villages, called kraals. Thousands of Bantu have left their tribal areas to work in South African industry, many of them as miners. South Africa has great mineral wealth. Much of the world's gold and diamonds are mined here, as well as coal, iron ore, copper, chrome, and many others. Johannesburg, the city of gold, is a thriving metropolis with a population of over 1 million. Only 80 years ago, it began as a mining camp. On the outskirts stand huge mounds of waste from the gold mines. While mining plays an important part in South Africa's economy, agriculture is not yet as fully developed. The main problem, lack of water, is now being solved by large irrigation projects. This will make it possible to farm on the dry veld. But in South Africa, agriculture takes second place to industry. Development of its great mineral wealth has turned South Africa from an agricultural land into the most highly advanced industrial region of Africa, all within a generation. Further north, high elevations give eastern Africa a cool, pleasant climate all year round, even though it is directly on the equator. Snow-capped Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest peak in Africa, and around it, the grassy plateau is filled with wild game. This plateau is the home of tribes like the Maasai, whose way of life is based on their cattle, which they value as money. The young boys herd their father's cattle until they are old enough to have their own. Today, the Maasai still cling to many of their old traditions, but all around them, Africa is changing rapidly. Isola is typical of the new East Africa. As a nurse, her job is to travel from village to village, teaching better hygiene and nutrition. Because she herself was born not far away, she knows the language of these women. Some of them remind her of her own mother. The children usually get enough to eat, but their diet often lacks important vitamins. Isola is showing them how to keep strong and free from sickness by adding vitamins with other foods. Isola was trained in a modern hospital in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, and one of the most modern cities in Africa. It is located in a region called the Highlands. In colonial times, many European farmers settled here. But since independence, some have left, and the new governments are dividing these lands into modern African farms. The highland climate is ideal for the growing of coffee, the leading export of East Africa. The red fruit, or cherry, contains the coffee beans, which are naturally yellow until roasted. Today, light industries are coming to the highlands. Large shoe and textile factories are in operation, providing Africans with jobs and the opportunity to learn new skills. Throughout the 4 regions of Africa, in the dry north, in the forests of the west, in the industrial south, and in the highlands of the east, training and education is the most important task for the future. These children are the first in their family to learn to read. In time, many will go on to universities and one day become the teachers, scientists, and leaders of tomorrow's Africa.